What's up, guys? It's G right here, and I'm gonna be doing a rec review. This guy is actually unranked A rant. I tried to look him up real quick. I think he's just doing his placement matches. I'm not sure if he has another account, so I have no idea what ELO this is gonna be. But let's take a look. It looks like we have an HRE mirror. And yep, gonna be watching from A rant's perspective for the most part. So HRE mirror on is Lipney, right? Yep. Alright. Let's fast forward. So with HRE, usually you put like 3 starting villagers on gold. And that's what I would usually do with HRE. I'd put 3 starting villagers on gold and then the rest of food. And I would actually not build a lumber camp in age 1. The really nice thing is that the chapel acts as a lumber camp. So sometimes you can build the chapel. For example, like right here, you could, if you do no lumber camp in age 1, you could build a chapel right here, and then it functions as a lumber camp basically, and also like a drop-off point for the mining camp. So that would be really nice. Right here, he's killing his sheep very far from the town center, so you're losing a lot of gathering time because the villagers are walking very far to drop off the resources. So you can always you can click on the sheep, and then if you right click. It won't show it for me, but if you right click, there's an arrow where you can like kind of position them, and like if you hold it down, otherwise you can just click next to it. So yeah, this guy's of course newer to the game, and so basically the thing with houses is you only want to build houses when you have to build houses. Right now he's spending a ton of resources to build like too many houses. Like he's gonna go up to 40 and 50. He doesn't need 50 population. Right now he's just slowed down his age up massively because he gathered a bunch of wood in age 1 that was completely unnecessary, and he's building way too many houses. So his age up time is slowed down drastically. All you need to do is you want to just build the 1 house, and then you want to age up, and then you can add in the 2nd house when necessary. But yeah, it's losing a lot of gathering time here. He did go with the Minevert Chapel. It's an okay landmark. The Aachen Chapel is definitely more meta, and I would say just the better landmark, but you can do the Mineverse sometimes. He's going for the text really early, really before having any units, which feels a little bit off. I would rather see like a wheelbarrow before like getting these texts, because you're just spending a lot of resources. He's getting the lumber camp upgrade though. Going on the hunt here, which is pretty nice. You could put more villagers on the hunt here because the hunt lasts quite a long time. So you can put like maybe like 8 villas, over here, and instead of like being on berries, because the berries gather very, very slowly. You always want to be active with your scout. Never stop moving with your scout. You can always shift click around the map, so you can just get as many sheep as possible. And you can try to kill a deer. Like right now, the deer is really close to the mill. You could use 2 bows to kill the deer as they start to run really close to the mill, just to kind of save some walking time. But more at the lower yellows like this, it's more like kind of focus on macro and build orders. So he's still building like way too many houses. You have a lot of room, and you're kind of just wasting wood, and where like those resources could be spent somewhere else. Not looking at the macro, he's just floating too much gold. You want to kind of have a plan of spend all your resources. As soon as your resources come in, you want to spend them, unless if like you're trying to age up. So of course his macro is getting a bit sloppy here. It's floating a lot. Now it's starting to float a lot of resources. You can always just get like horticulture, get some upgrades. You can always build a market and buy and sell resources to help with your economy. You do lose resources like when you buy and sell. It's not very efficient, but it can help you if your economy is like really out of whack. Now he's putting a lot of villas in the landmark, which is fine. He's going with the Burgrave. It's weird that he's doing the Burgrave, because the Burgrave is essentially, it's like 5 barracks, and he already has 3 barracks, and now he's also doing the Burgrave on top of it, which is like just kind of overkill and a strange decision in my opinion. I would much rather have seen the Ragnets here, and then he could try to get relics and pick up all the relics. And even if you don't do the Ragnets, you should still be trying to gather some relics. Go out on the map and try to pull in the relics if you can, or at the very least prevent your opponent from doing the relics. Also, one thing that I mentioned, like I don't think he scouted his opponent like at all this game, or very little. He doesn't really know like what his opponent's doing. He maybe sees this, I guess. So now he's going with Seeds Workshops. It feels like overkill to drop like 3 Seeds Workshops is like you kind of shouldn't be able to do that. That's like he doesn't have enough resources to train units from all three, so they're kind of like wasted resources there. His macro is getting a little bit out of whack. You want to make sure you never have idle TC. He's pretty good on that. And he does have a really large army, but he's not using scouts at all, so he has no idea like what his opponent's base is like. Like maybe he has way larger army than his opponent, and maybe there's time for him to push, or maybe he would look at this. If he scouted, like he might see these villagers exposed, and then hey, you can kill like 10 villagers completely for free, or or you see this, like you send 2 knights over here and kill these villas. That's like a GG raid, right? But instead, he's just got his army in one giant blob. Not scouting the map, not looking at the resources. And one good thing, he is farming early himself, could be trying to go out on boards or something. He's now going up to H4. I would use more villagers to build this landmark. Palace of Swabia is good because they're extremely strong. And one thing is, when you make siege like this, he got his 2 trebs sniped by Springholds because he didn't have line of sight, yet his opponent did have line of sight with the towers, providing a lot of line of sight. So you always want to have either a scout or like towers with your siege. And anytime you're making siege, you need to have line of sight because that's really critical. See, he's gonna see like these Springholds way too late. He sees the Springholds at the last minute because he has like no scout or pretty much no line of sight. And here, you just want to spend your resources. As soon as the Palace of Swabia gets built, you want to just hold down, like shift and queue up as many villagers as possible. Like, the villagers are super, super cheap, extremely good landmarks. So, like, he's not even using it right now, which is obviously a big mistake. You want to just hold it down and queue up literally as many villagers as you can. And now looks like he's getting a bit raided. So yeah, just floating a lot of resources. You want to just try to, focus on macro at the kind of lower levels when you're newer to the game or you're not as an experienced RTS player. You can always do walls like in the late game to try to keep your economy more safe. But yep, he's not using the. He's not even okay. He was a tiny bit. I think he trained a few of those. But yeah, with Palace of Swabia, like hold down the villager training button and queue up as many villas as possible, like at all times. He's also researching textiles from Palace of Swabia, which is a really big mistake because it's just a regular. It takes 20 seconds to research, and that just means you can't train villagers. Instead, if you're gonna research textiles and you're in H47, research textiles at your main town center, so that you can make the super fast and cheap villas from the Palace of Swabia. And keep making villas. You can go up to like 100 plus villas. Keep making villas. And yeah, you can try to spread some towers out to get some more line of sight, and just make units. Try to just spend your resources. Like moments like this. Let's see how many military buildings he has. He has 3 barracks, 3 stables, 3 siege workshops. Like moments like this, you need to just like throw down a ton of buildings. Just like drop like 5 barracks, add 5 more barracks, and add 5 more stables. Like maybe even more. Like add like at least 10 more military buildings. You can put some villagers on stone. Like just start dropping keeps places. You have over 10k resources. It's just a matter of like spending them. Hell, you can even just you have the bird drive. You can hold this and literally just queue up as many units as literally possible. Like that that it allows you. Just hold down shift. Yeah, if you don't know so when you click on a unit, it queues up a single unit. If you hold on shift and then you press it, it will queue up 5 units. So that's a nice trick when your macro is really out of whack like this. You can just hold down shift and click it and like just click it a bunch of times so you can have these buildings completely fully queued up. It would be nice to like add a tower here, got some line of sights. Let's see how his opponent is looking. His opponent's like 220 or 200 pop. This is kind of more where you want to be. You just want to get max population. You want to spend your resources as quickly as possible. This guy still has a very large bank, but he's at max population of 200. Meanwhile, A-Rant's only at 150. So you just want to get to max pop as soon as possible. You have way more than enough resources to be at 200 pop right now. So the only reason why you're not at 200 pop right now is because basically like your APM and I guess maybe or like your decision making. You're just not clicking things like quick enough. You're not building enough military buildings. You're not clicking to queue up military units quick enough. that fight actually went really well for you, but like you should be 200 pop, like, you know, even basically at all times with this many resources. Like add, you know, 10, 15 more military buildings. You can keep getting your upgrades, especially you want to build a university. I don't think you built a university. When you get an H4, there's really good upgrades at the university, so you can always build a university and get those upgrades. But yeah, at the lower levels like this, you want to focus on big things, or you want to constantly be training villagers basically at all times. You want to spend your resources as quickly as possible. Avoid allowing resources to accumulate unless if like you're trying to age up, obviously. And yeah, try to just like kind of slowly improve your APM and work on your multitasking. But yeah, the main thing is constantly train villagers and work on your macro, just spending res as soon as they come in. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.